Hi, welcome to the HAV video log. We're back for the first time in probably over a month. We've been busy. So we've been asked a question. We get asked a few questions, or quite a few questions. That's probably my job. But we've been asked a specific question, and we thought it'd be quite a good idea to answer it as a video log to assist other people, because it's something I get asked quite often. How in depth do I need to go into risk assessments? So what that means is, if I'm doing a task, what do I need to describe? Do I need to go into every single movement that operator does? He picks up that tool for 6 seconds, then puts it down for another 5 seconds, then picks it up again for 17 seconds. Or do I need to describe in depth the task that's carried out? So he uses that die grinder for 3 minutes, he uses that grinder for 6 minutes, etc., etc. Now, that is what I've seen historically, is people focusing on tools and how often they're used, but not describing the task. And this is it. This is what you should be doing as a business or stroke organisation, if you're an organisation. You should actually be going into tasks, actually in depth, as describing why they're doing that. So if they are using a die grinder, if they are using a grinder, what are they actually trying to achieve in that? Now, the reason I say this is because if it's a repetitive task, we can afford to go into it really in depth. So we can describe every process that's carried out in that task and record it. Because if it's a day-to-day process, we can say, well, tomorrow it's going to be pretty much the same as today, and so on and so forth. So by going in really in-depth into repetitive tasks, you can afford, you can almost afford to give yourself loads of time. You can free up time in the future, because if you do that task and you assess it right, it means you don't have to assess it the next day and the day after that and the day after that. So if you have got repetitive tasks, go into it really in depth, it will help you. What we recommend is what I've been looking at, I've been talking to you, is we've got a document here which we just say to people, put something together like this. And all it does is say what tools used and what process has been carried out. And this would be almost like a task assessment for that day. Now what this is really handy for is because even if we've got variable tasks that are going on, so for instance, I might be breaking out concrete one day, and the next day I might be using a compaction plate to compact a sub-base type stone or something like that. Now they're two completely different tasks, so I'd almost need an assessment on each one. So assess every different type of task you do, but if let's say I'm breaking out concrete again, I can use that original data that I've already assessed and say, look, typically my exposure when I'm breaking out concrete is X, therefore when I do it again it should be about X. That's the best way to do it. And once you start building up this data of your processes, what your exposure is, it's quite intensive at first. You end up with a file of paper, but all your processes, and you can say, look, these are the tasks that we carry out on a typical day. These are our exposures for a typical day's for a typical task. Now, files, they can be painful, but there are systems out there you can use that will sort of almost keep all this together for you. If you've got any queries on this, get in touch direct, give us a ring. We're always here. Anyone who works with us knows that we're happy to answer any questions like that, or help as much as possibly can. But get in touch. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving us feedback as well. Keep the feedback coming in. And any questions, any improvements, get in touch with us. Thanks very much. Cheers.